Welcome to my channel Cine Chills. Let's enjoy the explanation of the movie.
This is a real domestic horror film with ghosts. It is adapted from a real supernatural event in Taiwan and the story of a little girl. Invitation tips: high energy ahead. Strongly recommend watching it with friends. Late at night, an old woman was walking alone in the mountains. Suddenly, she heard bursts of strange children's voices, and they kept calling her name. But when she turned around, there was no one behind her. After that, the old lady disappeared mysteriously. The neighbor looked at the missing person notice on the wall in the study and was very worried. She hoped that her good friend could return soon. "Shui, come back soon, I'm still waiting for you to sing." Study and grandson Wei live in an old house. As a real estate agent, Wei goes out early and comes back late every day. However, this day, as soon as he left, his grandmother, who was alone at home, suddenly noticed something unclean. It seemed that someone was calling his name. "I am not a mother." When he was about to go forward to check, he accidentally slipped and fell to the ground. Study endured the pain and just wanted to get up, but he found that a series of muddy footprints appeared on the ground at some point. At the same time, it also exuded a foul smell. Before he could recover, a horrible scene appeared. In the evening, Wei took his girlfriend Ijuan home for dinner, but at this time his grandmother had become expressionless. She was dazed as if possessed by a demon. Lin Lishui had asked her out to sing, but the next morning she disappeared. What was even more bizarre was that Lin Lishui, who had been missing for a long time, appeared on the street. The old lady looked distraught. Others also she was talking, but she said nothing. However, when she saw Wei, she showed a panic expression and kept apologizing. Wei immediately noticed something was wrong, but he couldn't tell what was wrong. At noon that day, Wei received a package with Lin Lishui's camera in it. He couldn't wait to open the video, but the content of the screen made him feel cold. He saw a group of old people going out to play, but at the end of the team there was a ragged little girl in red. Wei felt uneasy. In order to investigate the truth of the matter, he found the security guard at night and wanted to lead the way to Lin Lishui's house to ask for clarification. However, when he arrived at the residence, he found that the door had been opened as if just waiting for them to come. The two of them entered the house and it was pitch black inside as if the power was out. But at this moment, strange copper sounds suddenly came from the radio. Before I could figure out the situation, a dark shadow flashed past me. The two were terrified and ran away in a hurry. The next day at noon, they came to the monitoring room to check the video footage from last night, but they saw a scene that made their scalps tingle. Just when they escaped last night, a little girl in red followed them. When they checked the video, they found that the grandmother was also wearing a red dress on the day she disappeared. Then she was taken away by the little girl. Seeing this, Wei was even more scared and quickly posted a missing person notice to find his grandmother. However, the next morning a terrifying thing came to her. A dry hand patted her shoulder. But when the man got up, he found that there was no one in the room. Following the direction of the sound, Wei slowly walked forward to check and found a series of muddy footprints on the ground. At the same time, there were bursts of stench. Wei followed the sound and crawled under the table. Looking back, there was no one. But when he turned his head, the scene changed. Wei he appeared in front of his girlfriend Ijuan. She looked pale and dazed. However, Ijuan did not notice anything unusual about her boyfriend. Then she followed Wei back home. But as soon as they entered the house, Wei walked towards the kitchen silently. Ijuan then realized that the room was unusually gloomy, as if there was something unclean. Then Wei called Ijuan to come in for dinner, but when she walked forward, she found that the food in her boyfriend's mouth was actually disgusting insects. Ijuan was shocked and hurried to find the security guard. However, when they rushed back, the maggots on the table had disappeared, and the boyfriend Wei also disappeared mysteriously. But the strange thing is that the next morning the long-missing grandma actually came back. When she saw Ijuan, grandma was very excited. He kept apologizing. After that, the grandmother began to vomit. The doctor found an insect egg in the vomit. After identification, it was found that it was a red-clothed ghost-faced swan, a very rare insect. What's even more bizarre is that the pattern on the back of the ghost-faced swan is exactly the same as that of the little girl in red. In order to find her boyfriend, Ijuan used her radio position to ask listeners about the situation. Not long after, Ijuan received a call from the other party. From the other party, she learned that the habitat of the red-clothed ghost-faced swan is in a place called Wanglongking. The next morning, Ijuan went to Wanglongking with the search and rescue team. Soon they came to a three-way intersection. Everyone had to split into 3 groups to continue searching. However, when they turned a corner, all the search and rescue team members in front of them were Ijun hurriedly went forward to look for the mysterious disappearance, but after walking for a while he found himself back at the fork in the road. Before he knew it, night fell. Ijun, exhausted, had to take a short rest, but at this moment he looked up and saw suddenly, a huge red swan with a ghost face appeared. With the flap of its wings, countless little geese rushed over. Ijun was frightened and fled madly, but accidentally fell to the ground. At this time he found that there were densely packed corpses tied to the tree. Ijun crawled forward with difficulty, trying to escape from here quickly. However, at this moment, he faintly heard a child behind him calling for his mother. Then his body suddenly felt a sharp pain. He opened his clothes and saw that his stomach had swelled into a ball of flesh without knowing when. It seemed that something was about to burst out of his stomach. Ijun collapsed to the ground in pain. I don't know how long it took, a child covered in blood appeared in front of him. Mom, why don't you want me? It turned out that Ijun had beaten many years ago. She lost her baby. Now, facing the questioning of the child, she fell into deep pain and guilt. Finally, she took the child into her arms and apologized repeatedly. Suddenly, Ijun woke up from the bed. It turned out to be a nightmare. But the dream was so real. At this time, her boyfriend Away, who had disappeared long ago, appeared in front of her. Ijun seemed to have thought of something. He asked Away where his grandmother was now, but Away said coldly that his grandmother had gone to a nursing home. Ijun immediately became suspicious of Away because in his eyes, Away had always been a very filial child and would never send his grandmother to a nursing home. Thinking of this, Ijun hurriedly wanted to escape, but Away closed the door and asked, "Where are you going?" At this time, Ijun found that countless swans with ghost faces appeared above his head. He suddenly saw that Away had been tied to a tree. No matter how he called Away, he still didn't respond. At this time, all the demons behind him surrounded him. Ijun tried his best to rescue him, and finally, after rescuing Wei from the tree, the two of them kept running wildly in the woods. In the panic, Ijun accidentally fell down. When he stood up, he found a little girl in red lying on Wei. The little girl then revealed the form of a demon boy. The demon boy crawled towards Ijun step by step. At the critical moment, a signal flare lit up in the air. Under the strong light, all the demon boys were driven away. Finally, Ijun and Away were successfully rescued by the search and rescue team. At the end of the film, they lived happily with their grandmother. However, at this time, a red ghost-faced swan was lying on the wall of the room. Obviously, they were about to encounter a new crisis. Our video today ends here. If you like it, please subscribe, follow, like, collect, and support me. See you in the next movie.